Neutron Managed Wi-Fi Solution from EnGenius. First of all, why a managed wireless solution? Why do you need to go for a managed wireless solution compared with, let's say, a selection of just discretely administered access points? Well, the first issue is optimization and stabilization. So by going for a managed solution, the management system can attempt to reduce interference between the different access points, both on the network and external access points. The other thing it can do is background scanning to optimize channel and power adjusting. So a proper managed system can actually check for interference between the access points and reduce the power and or change their channel accordingly. A proper managed wireless solution will give you proper, fast, seamless roaming. And by that I mean using the proper IEEE 802.11k/R protocols rather than just a proprietary package, for example, single channel architecture. It can also give you capabilities for balancing and shaping the network. So in this, what I mean here is it can actually distribute loading between the access points to give even capabilities between all the access points. It can offer central and remote management. It can potentially offer captive portal service. This is the sort of thing you have guest login, for example, at hotels, etc. So overall, having a managed solution gives a much better and more stable wireless network. So what's EnGenius's take on this idea then? Well, they've come up with the Neutron package. Neutron package is an AP managed solution based around an all-in-one AP management switch. So this is a high-level switch which includes AP management functionality. They have a range of indoor and outdoor managed access points. Potentially they can go up to 50 access points being managed per switch. Suitable for small, medium offices, hospitality and educational establishments. Offers easy installation, easy AP configuration and monitoring. You can now add to this package the software server solution called ezMaster. ezMaster gives you extended capability including distributed network management, up to thousands of access points. It'll work cross-subnet, cloud management and give you the capability to do project management. As I've just mentioned, the core of the Neutron system is what they call a management switch. A management switch is a very high specification layer 2 PoE switch, to which they've added and included the management software for management of a wireless network. This is all done in a single housing. Traditionally or normally this is a rack-based unit, though there is now a smaller desktop product available as well. So the key parts of a complete Neutron system are: at the core you have the management switch, you have a selection of both indoor and outdoor access points, and you can now also add the ezMaster software solution to the mix. So how does the ezMaster Neutron system fit into a total network setup? Well, the Neutron package is concerned primarily with managing the wireless infrastructure. So it consists of the access points, the management switch itself. The management switch can also be integrated with other EnGenius switches to give a complete managed system. So the switches are also managed as part of the actual management system, and also, as I mentioned before, you can add the ezMaster on the side of it to give server-based capability. What's generally not included in the actual Neutron system are things, for example, the Radius server, Captive Portal. Well, Captive Portal is to some extent included, but a high specification Captive Portal package may be required. Go along with that with also the authentication server and the billing. and also features like the antivirus, firewall, anti-spam, and the internet gateway are obviously not included as part of this Neutron system. So this goes through a list of the functions and specifications of what the Neutron series can do. As you can see, it's very varied, very diverse, very wide range of functionality. Starting off here on the left, we have the capabilities of wireless network management. So that means AP auto discovery and provisioning, AP IP assignment, cluster management, that's grouping collections of access points together under a single configuration, client fingerprinting. You can kick and ban wireless clients. On the configuration side, you have the capability to do AP rebooting. You can change the names of them, change their radio settings, control whether you want the LEDs on or off, band steering, traffic shaping, client limiting, RSSI threshold, guest network, that's a simple captive portal system, and obviously there's the full proper 802.11k/R proper roaming, normal aspects of wireless security, and also you can have multiple SSID with individual VLAN tagging. It also comes with a full suite of monitoring tools, so you could monitor the status of the access points, also the clients, including their traffic and usage. You have the capability to do topology views, wireless coverage displays, or what some people call heat maps, floor plan views, map views, there are event logs and email notification. For communication within the network, there is also secure control messaging, which is SSL certificated, and layer 2 wireless client isolation and rogue AP detection. Extra functionality is local MAC address database, remote MAC address database using a Radius server. You can import and export configuration, and it has a diagnostic tool to try and sort out any problems on your network, and obviously it has the capability to do firmware updates on bulk to all of your access points. I've already mentioned ezMaster. Well, basically ezMaster is a free software server package, so it's free software, no charges for it, which runs on a VM/cloud system. So this can be a VM machine, a virtual machine on your own local server, or it can be a third-party VMware platform, for example the Amazon VMware platform. It gives multi-site management, which means that you can have one ezMaster server which can talk and control multiple sites across different subnets. You can integrate multiple EWS setups between those sites. It will cope with thousands of access points, and it has the capability for SmartSync and easy redundancy, which is a way of having backup servers. So, the unique points of a total solution. Well, total solution gives you scalability from a few access points up to thousands. Mobility, control from any place. That basically is referring to obviously the ezMaster aspect here. Affordability, so it's a cost-effective package by virtue of the fact that you have an integrated switch which contains all of the functions of a full PoE switch and the EnGenius Neutron software. You can add to that ezMaster, which is a free server package. There are no license fees at all included in the Neutron system or required in the Neutron system. You don't need any licenses for the software, for the system, for the package. You buy the equipment, you use it, that's all you ever need to do as far as cost-wise is concerned. And obviously reliability by virtue of the SmartSync and easy redundancy functionality. Let's cover scalability, and we'll try to show this by a series of examples. If you had a small office, restaurant or a small school, you could start off with a basic management switch, for example the 5912, which can cope up to 50 access points. That's 50 access points managed. It is only an 8-port switch, but it will manage up to 50 access points on the network as a whole. So some of the access points can be directly connected to the management switch. If you wanted access points which exceed the capability of this particular switch as far as ports and PoE capability is concerned, then you can add extra switches onto the network for those additional access points. But all those access points will still be managed via the central management switch. So this is showing an example where you start off with a management switch and then put 4 access points in with a rather pessimistic 80 client count capability. If you want to add more access points to cover different areas, you can just simply add more access points which could connect directly to the management switch. If you wanted more access points again, then obviously you've reached the capability of the switch. So in this case you can add a further EnGenius switch. So this is not a managed switch, this is just a standard high specification PoE layer 2 switch. For example, in this case we're talking about the 5212, and then you can add further access points to that second switch. If we go for a larger example, so this is a sort of factory warehouse type multi-site type environment. In this instance you start off with a much larger specification management switch. In this example they're talking about the 7952. This will cope up to 50 access points and 1,000 plus clients. So in this instance you can have multiple access points connected in the office, in the fictitious office here, connected directly to the management switch. For the remote sites, for example the warehouse and the factory, you can have further EnGenius switches. Remember, these don't have to be managed switches, these secondary switches, they can just be normal EnGenius EGS switches. And these can have a collection of access points running off them. In this instance they are suggesting a fiber feed backhaul between these various bits switches here. To be honest, you could use fiber, but we've actually tested this also using point-to-point wireless bridge links, and we found using EnGenius point-to-point wireless bridge links is just as good. That will also give you this connectivity backbone support. Let's talk about mobility. So, in a normal standalone situation, you have a group of individual discrete access points which are controlled traditionally using a web interface on a PC. And in this case, you have to communicate and configure each access point on an individual basis. If you take the Neutron solution, then you still have your web-based access or configuration on your computer, but that then talks to the management switch. So this is just one configuration to the management switch, and it's then the responsibility of the managed switch to push that configuration onto your selected choice of access points. So it correctly simplifies the whole process of actually management. You already got one management process to do, and then the switch takes over the multiple managements of the individual access points. If we bring ezMaster into the fold, well, ezMaster, you can have your ezMaster server. Now in this instance what happens is you talk to your ezMaster server, yet again using a web-based interface. Then the ezMaster server then sends the management or configuration instructions to the various projects which are part of the server or configured on the server. So this is a project consisting of a site with a management switch, group of access points, and this is denoting that this is off-site, so this is a different site but accessible via the internet. This is showing ezMaster talking to a management switch to a collection of access points on the same site as the ezMaster server. And this example here on the right is depicting ezMaster talking through the internet to a collection of access points located at a site where there is actually no management switch. So ezMaster does have limited capability to talk to discrete access points on a site where there is no management switch. Now this is useful if you have very small sites. Let's say you have sites where you just want to put a single access point in, so there's no reason to go to the expense or sophistication of putting a full management switch in. You just want basic administration and control for a very small site, so you can do this using the ezMaster. So ezMaster can cope with remote sites accessible through the internet, local sites using management switch, and also remote sites where there is no management switch incorporated. This is just re-emphasizing the fact that the ezMaster server can be located anywhere. It doesn't matter where it's located. It can be located on different networks at different sites. The only important thing is that each site must have internet access, because you're using internet connectivity to talk back to the server. This is just a Venn diagram which shows what you're getting by going either for the Neutron switch solution. So this is the basic system using just a management switch with a collection of access points. This is comparing what you get if you don't have the management switch at the site. So this is going back to the idea of remote sites where you don't have a management switch, you just have one or two access points on their own. But yet again, those access points being controlled and administered by your central ezMaster server. And this is showing what happens if you have both. So this is showing what happens when you have ezMaster and the Neutron switch controlling the system. So you can see you get extra functionality. For example, you get cross subnet management, far higher number of access points that you can control, the concept of project configuration. So that means you can have multiple clusters of a site all collected together under a single project banner. Captive portal, the idea of redundancy, topology views, intelligent troubleshooting, etc. But notice that these functions here, particularly those concerned with diagnostics and troubleshooting, are actually absent if you don't have the management switch. Okay, the idea of affordability. This is illustrated by just taking 2 or 3 examples comparing with other makes and models and brands. Take the prices with a pinch of salt, to be honest. They're not intended as a definite indication of cost, they're just intended there as a comparison tool. So here we have the idea of a site consisting of 8 access points, in this case dual band access points, the 320s, and it's comparing with a similar package which comes from a manufacturer whose name begins with N. You can judge yourself who that is. So if we did it with the EnGenius system, you'd need just one management switch. Remember, the management switch is also a PoE switch, and you would need your 8 access points. In the case of a manufacturer beginning with N, you need your controller. Now, the thing about their controller is it's not a PoE switch as well, it's just a controller, so you need the controller. You then also need your PoE switch. You then need your access points. So the combination of all these extra pieces of equipment and costs basically means that obviously the N manufacturer's product cost more. Let's compare it to another manufacturer whose name begins with D. Similar thing. You've got the controller, but the controller doesn't come with a PoE switch part, so you need the PoE switch part as well. Now the other thing about the manufacturer whose name begins with D is you need additional licenses. The controller comes with a standard license pack included, for example 12 licenses, but for additional access points you need more licenses. Obviously this is not required with the EnGenius take on the system. EnGenius solution, all you need is your PoE management switch and your access points, and no other equipment or license fees are required. With the manufacturer begins with D, you've got the controller, the licenses, you also need your switch, and you need the access points. The net effect is, obviously, EnGenius comes out a lot cheaper. Now we can go to a much grander example comparing with a manufacturer whose name begins with R, and it's a similar story. Manufacturer begins with R. Their controller's reasonably competitively priced, but it's not a PoE switch, so you need the PoE switches as well. The other thing about it is that it needs licenses for all the access points. Yet again, no licenses required for Neutron from EnGenius. So put the license fees on here, put the additional switch fees on here, and the net effect is, yet again, a big cost saving by going the EnGenius route. Now, this is covering aspects of backup and redundancy when using the ezMaster server solution. The ezMaster is very dependent upon the internet. It's relying upon an internet connection from the various sites. However, if those sites also have an EnGenius EWS management switch in place, then what can happen is if the internet dies for any reason, then the EWS switch at the site can take over the role of the management. So the EWS switch in this case is taking over the role of the management, and also error logging, fault reporting, etc., is all being handled by the management switch. When the internet comes back up again, then the switch will at that point go through a recovery process, updating all the logs and statistical data back up to the ezMaster server. A feature which is promised for later this year but isn't actually there yet is the concept of actually having backup ezMaster servers. We don't really know how this is going to work or how this is actually going to be implemented, but the basic idea is that you have a main server and you have a redundancy server, and if something goes wrong with the main server, be it an internet-based issue or a hardware-based issue, etc., then the redundancy server will take over the role as acting as the ezMaster for the network. Let's talk about target market. Well, the thing about Neutron, and more specifically Neutron, and with the concept of ezMaster coming into the mix, is that it is extremely wide potential market base. You can put solutions in using a very small Neutron switch with a small number of access points into a small to medium sized office. You can also add capability, expand the system to give support, for example, for cafes, bars and hotels. And due to the very high number of access points supported by adding ezMaster, you could even go up to schools or campuses. And the Neutron/ezMaster package has the tools and the software capabilities and the management capabilities to cope with all of these different scenarios. Let's talk about the target customer. Well, EnGenius have tried to make the Neutron system as simple as possible. They've tried to make it suitable for anybody who can operate simple network functionality. So they've aimed it, for example, at the traditional installer. They've given it very simple setup, and if you play around with the system, you'll very rapidly appreciate that it is extremely quick and simple to get a Neutron system up and running. You can literally get a collection of access points and a Neutron switch up and running and configured in a matter of minutes. 10 minutes you've got the system up and running. Put the ezMaster in it and you've got the capability of the remote troubleshooting and the remote maintenance, and you can also extend the system further if you need to. Now, this is an interesting concept which has come about by virtue of the ezMaster coming onto the scene. which is the concept of offering remote management and remote configuration as a tool, as a charging tool. So by using the ezMaster, you can now install on multiple sites, but through the ezMaster you can now monitor and administer all those sites remotely. It does mean that potentially you could use a lower skill set to actually do the installation at the customer site of the equipment, and then take over the configuration and commissioning of the system remotely using the ezMaster. Also gives the option of ongoing potential charge service for this. So you can actually potentially charge the customer for an ongoing support role, which you can do remotely. Quickly go through the product lineup. As I've mentioned, at the core of the Neutron system is the management switch, which is a high-grade management PoE switch, which has the Neutron Neutron configuration software actually incorporated onto the switch. The majority of the switches are rack-based with 48, 24, 24 or 8 PoE capable ports. All the rack ones can cope up to 50 access points managed. Remember, all the access points don't have to be connected to the switch. They can be connected anywhere on the network as long as the management switch can see them on the network. Also at the bottom end, and this is quite a popular entry product here because we're finding this very, very popular for the smaller sites that don't need vast numbers of access points. This is a small desktop controller which can cope up to 20 access points. As I say, all of these switches are PoE capable with various levels of PoE power. An important configuration PoE power. There's no point in going for a, let's say, this 8-port switch here, which has 130 watt output, but plugging into it on all the 8 ports, very high power demanding access points. You might well find it exceeds the PoE power. So in those instances you might need to add onto the system a separate EnGenius PoE switch purely for the powering of the access points. And let's cover the access points now. At the moment there are 3 outdoor access points. All the access points are dual band. They are all 11 AC capable. So starting from 867 meg 11 AC, going right up to 1.3 gig 11 AC. They're all PoE AT powered. They all have Omni antennas integrated, except for the 860, which has the Omni antennas externally mounted, and that does actually give you then the option of replacing the external antennas with, let's say, for example, multiple MIMO sector antennas or similar. And the 860 is also IP68 proof. Indoor access points. There's 5 models to choose from. At the bottom end you just have a simple 2.4 gig access points, which is surprisingly still quite popular. There are still sites where they don't need the sophistication of dual band capabilities. Either that's because the client's capabilities is limited, or they just want to keep the cost measures down. So you could go for the 300, which is a basic 2.4 gig access point. You then have the 310 and 320, which are 11N dual band access points, so they're 5 gig 11N and 2.4 gig 11N. And then you have the 350 and 360 models, which are 11AC, either 867 or 1.3 gig. So these are 11AC dual band ceiling mount access points. They're all PoE powered, and they all have internal high specification antenna capability. This is the new access point part of the Neutron solution, which is the concept of a wall-mounted access point. This is specifically aimed, for example, at hotels or classrooms where you need extra functionality, for example, multiple LAN ports, PoE capability perhaps on the LAN ports, even a RJ45 pass-through for a phone or something like that. So these are either a 2.4 version or a dual band version with integrated Wi-Fi, 300/300 or 300 meg, and a select collection of RJ45s with different functionality. And the way these work is you have your standard 86 by 86 wall box to which you're running a LAN cable with PoE capability. The access point comes with a metal mounting plate which fixes on the front of the wall box, and then the access point actually fixes to the mounting plate. So this is just going through the functionality of the wall-mounted access points. Yet again, they are controlled by the management switch, but they also have multiple LAN ports on the front. So some of which are data only. You also have one which is got PoE pass-through as well, and you also have the capability for phone pass-through. So this is just a straight RJ45 connector going straight to the straight connector on the back. So it's a pass-through for telephone support in the room. Now, I have been saying that these are were traditionally aimed at things like hotel rooms, for example, but there is the capability here, or the application for these, to actually be used in larger housing solutions. Surprisingly, the EnGenius Neutron package has actually becoming some favour, or earning some favour, in people setting up wireless solutions in large houses. I'm talking about your £1 million+ homes here. They are that people are picking up on that product for that application purely because it offers full management for multiple access points, which is what a large house like that may well require. It also gives you the roaming capability, and roaming is becoming perceived as very important by that sort of client. They really do want their kids to be able to stumble around the house, falling over toys and falling down the stairs, but having their eyes glued on their phone. So roaming is an important function, and Neutron gives that capability. Also, because it's got multiple LAN ports, you can imagine the application, for example, in behind the TV or in a theatre room, where you need multiple LAN port connectivity for the multiple multimedia hardware. Okay, that's the Neutron solution from EnGenius.